Hey everyone, welcome back to another X-Men video. It's Wednesday and you know what that means. It's a new episode of X-Men 97! Woohoo! I've been very excited. I've been waiting to watch this one all day and now I've just watched it at the end of the day. So here is my quick review and breakdown, including all the Easter eggs I managed to spot in my watch through. So without further ado, let's get to it! Now, this was, rather than just one episode, it was actually two mini episodes in one tasty package. We had Motendo, which was a Jubilee-centric episode focusing on her 18th birthday, and we had Life Death Part 1, which is the real meat of the piece. Now, we'll get to Life Death in a minute, but let's look at Motendo first. It was entertaining, it was good fun, it was very much a filler episode, but I loved it all the same because of all of the wonderful references. We'll start with the credits. The credits so far in this have been brilliant. They've adapted in a way that Battlestar Galactica's 2003 reimagining adapted. They adapt to each episode and give you a little bit. So here, for example, Jean Grey in the opening credits of episode 4 has her hair back in a ponytail, whereas in the first 3 her hair is down. And why? Because in the first 3 Jean Grey was a clone and not the real person. Little lovely touches. And then they brought some more bits back from previous episodes as a nod to the episode we've got coming. Part of the reanimated footage sees Jubilee saving Longshot from Mojo in the Longshot episode, Polaris holding havoc after the X-Men skirmish with X-Factor from the Cold Comfort episode, and Charles Xavier being beaten out by Emma Frost in Dark Phoenix Part 2, all from Season 3 of the original series, beautifully reanimated here, just briefly for the introduction, which I thought was really, really good. But the episode itself, what is it? Well, it's Jubilee's 18th birthday, and all she wants to do is go down the arcade club and spend a bit of time with those people she loves. But what does she get to do? Well, according to Magento, she gets to go and spend a day in the Danger Room learning how to hone her powers. Not something she's particularly keen on. Anyway, in her room, she's complaining away and wanted to play the video games, and then sees a console, and I always forget that we're in the 90s, and it's beautiful to see an older looking console, even one so evil as this, that immediately takes them over and dumps them into a game. It's very Matrix like, but what we see almost immediately in there is a wonderful cover of part 1 of Days of Future Past, which is nice. And then we get a few more references. We get the Motendo logo, which is very much a nod to Nintendo. And while running from Sentinels in the city, a phone rings, and when they answer it, they vanish in a green flash of code. A beautiful nod to the Matrix. Another classic 90s creation. And then, while trapped in this game, she is kicking ass, and it looks wonderful. And it looks wonderful because it's very much a rip-off's the wrong word, very much an homage to the 90s Konami side-scrolling game, which just looks beautiful. And actually there are 3 different levels that have been recreated and put on screen using similar graphics to the original game, and that's the city level from level 1, it's the jungle level from level 3, and the level 8 battle with Magneto, and it was beautiful to see. It was really, really well done, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. There was a whole lot of good stuff going on. But I think I mentioned at the start of all of this that I wanted to see a Jubilee-centric episode where she got to be awesome. And in this short episode, she gets to be awesome. Because inside the game is a digital Jubilee. who has been helping them all the way through in her own funky costume, throwing extra lives down, pulling them out where needed, and helping them out. And this is Absissa, which is a variant of Jubilee, debuted back in 1992, is held captive as Mojo's slave, and in this version is dancing through the game, trying desperately to save her, and has honed her powers so that she has got some pretty serious skills to show off to actual Jubilee, who then takes these skills with her at the end, which I'm sure will please Magneto when she finally uses them in battle. But a lovely Easter egg wrapped inside an Easter egg here is that this character is voiced by Alison Court, who is the original Jubilee voice actor, which is why she seems so familiar, aside from the beautiful animation. So that's a lovely nod, bringing her back, because obviously they've changed the actor this time to someone of similar ethnicity, which is the right thing to do. But bringing the original actor back in this way is a lovely nod, both for her and for the fans as well. So that was great, and I liked it. It was a short 17 minutes of the episode, this, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Like I say, it was filler. It didn't advance the plot very much at all, but it was Jubilee centric. She's got some new powers. She comes out of it with a new boyfriend. She's had a good 18th birthday. Everyone's happy. Great. On to the important stuff. Life Death Part 1. Now, we were teased this at the end of the last episode, and we won't get a resolution to this until episode 6. So, Life Death picks up some time after Forge has met Storm in the bar, and she is now staying at his ranch, his house, I don't know, out in the desert somewhere, and eating his fantastic chili and learning all about him and his ability to basically create what he can imagine and come up with solutions. And he is desperate to cure her and to bring her powers back, and it's not until later in the episode that she asks why, and he admits that post-war, being short of resources, he agreed to create stuff for the US government, and some of his designs have led to power suppressing collars, and as a direct result of that, to the weapon that the executioner used to permanently remove her powers. And so, even though this is now a personal quest to sort of deal with his own guilt, she's just horrified by what he's done and cannot at this time accept that there is a problem. Throughout the whole episode, there is an owl circling overhead that she talks about. It's on the rafters in the house, and she's using it almost as a source of inspiration as she's trying desperately to bring her command of the elements back and feel the world as she once did. But this owl is not to be trusted, because the final part of this episode sees the owl reveal itself to be the adversary, which is a huge, nasty, demonic, giant, half owl, half hideous beast that feeds on sorrow and despair, and has been saving Storm up for more than a snack. And this episode comes to a relatively swift conclusion, with Storm standing in this otherworldly pool of blood, with the adversary standing overhead, having already bitten Forge firmly on the shoulder and what looks like infected him with something, although we don't see any more. But the adversary's a very big deal. Been seeking to destroy all of reality in the comics for many years. Forge has plenty of links to this, with how he was raised a long time ago, and that will probably come into play more. Probably why the adversary took Forge out first is because he will understand what this beast is, whereas Storm, not so much. But this episode ends with her looking in despair as this demonic entity has just promised to feast on everything about her. But yeah, we don't have any solution to that. That's where it ended. Again, a short episode. It wasn't very long at all. But I thought it was great. I thought it was really good fun, the first part, and I thought the second part was really poignant, and I liked that a lot. Clearly, all Telling Life Death would not quite be 2 full episodes, so they've decided to do the Jubilee-centric story first, to get you a bit of fun in, then we can start the story, set the scene, and then 2 episodes time we can have part 2, which is going to be all about how Storm gets her powers back and defeats the adversary with Forge, and maybe a little help from some of the other X-Men as well. I think it's time that Gambit had a bit of a time to shine, and to be fair, Wolverine as well, who's not had much use at the moment. But it was a really good episode. A lot of people will say it's not as consistent as the previous 2, but I actually think in terms of certain things like production value, certainly as consistent. Plot, both of these were well plotted in their short time span that they had. A lot of people were confused and thought they were getting 2 episodes, like I say, but you know, it was not to be. We did get 2 episodes, but not 2 full episodes. We got 2 stories within the same thing, each with their own little subtitle. But yeah, keep it coming. This is great. This series is fantastic. The other good series that we've been learning this week is that season 3 of this is well into development. The cast have been recording their parts in the last few weeks, which is fantastic, because season 2 is done, as far as I'm aware. It's done and ready to drop at some point, hopefully later this year, probably next year. Either way, we'll be there to watch it, don't you worry. But yeah, so season 3 not only confirmed, but well into the production process, and that is really important because, you know, as long as this is good quality, I want more of it. What more can I ask for? But right, this is the end. I have spoken about this. I'm going to go and watch it again and see what else I can glean. But in the meantime, please do leave a like and a subscribe. Share this with your friends. And until the next video, next week, we'll catch you on the other side. Take care.